Okay, Michael from Florida, Nexus letter, VA. I need assistance for the Nexus letter for denied claim for shoulders. I can't believe they denied your shoulders. My goodness, never heard of that. Okay, obviously, come in, we'll do a next letter. Or maybe even telehealth and do it. Now, VA, if it happened during the service, it's covered. If you have no medical records, that's okay. You tell me, I believe you, it becomes your medical record. Right. The denials are just automatic. I had a federal employee from Ohio who teaches raters, that each state has people that rate and look at files of whether they can accept a VA claim. He said they're not well trained. And you do need a Nexus letter, but you need to start with your doctor, not some Tom, Dick, and Harry. And you never go to the VA and hope the VA hired gun doctors, nurse practitioners, and PAs are going to write a Nexus letter. They're not. They don't. First of all, they're not trained. All right. And they're working for the man. They probably think they're supposed to do it. Okay. Okay. So come on in. Let's get your shoulders taken care of, and probably your neck too. Okay. Because it's very fair. Now here's Jennifer from South Carolina. I have got claims to asthma, cervical strain, headaches, PTSD, all denied. Now, all you had was buddy letters and notes from a private primary doctor. A note is not going to do it. You need a Nexus report where the doctor goes in and explains the law and explains how this is caused by whatever happened in the service. Now, if it happens during your, say you're in the service 20 years and you develop hypertension, it's covered because it occurred during the service. But here you've got actual injuries that should be covered. Okay. A female, sexually assaulted. I'm sorry to say, but many women in the service are assaulted. That's a slam dunk. Just go. So that you don't need any. You tell me I believe it. It becomes that's your thing. That takes care of it. That's your medical evidence. All right. And then I've got all kinds of statistics I throw at them. We're going to win that one. Okay, here's another one from Brandon, Ohio. Received a decision letter for 3A claims, all denied. Surprise, surprise. You need to appeal to the government. You don't go back to Ohio raters who denied you the first time. You ask for a Board of Veterans Appeals. That's going to take a year. But that's quicker, and going back and appealing your state is going to turn you down each time. The people who turn you down are not going to pay any attention to you. And so you'll need an attorney, or not an attorney, but somebody that can represent veterans and go for the Veterans Appeals. Now, the judges in the Veterans Appeals in Washington, D.C. are lawyers. They're very honest, and they'll call it right. It's just like in federal. Once you get up to somebody that's not stupid and is not is trained, you win. Because the law's set up to always win if you don't give up. And of course the thing is, you put your life on the line for the GOV and the GOV screws you, it hurts your feelings. Well, GOV is not GOD. It's just a system of law. And you just don't give up. And we'll take care of it. Okay, here is Ray from Florida. Have one condition not service connected from a 1990 claim. His knees. Okay, now, if you filed for your knees back in 1990, you get your knees approved, and you make sure they pay you from 1990 forward. You don't let somebody say, let's file a new claim and set a new date for that claim being filed. You want to go back in the past. It's called a Niemeyer. Okay. It did not show, the evidence not show left knee pain. You probably didn't have any medical records. Okay. So your rater just looked for a reason to deny it. But you got a C file, and both right knee pains and shin splints and tibia strains were in your records. Boy, that's a slam dunk. Okay? So you just need a new Nexus letter, not a supplemental form. You need a Nexus letter with a doctor writing stuff that gets that stuff taken care of. Don't let people walk all over you. Okay. Because maybe I'm supposed to be filing for it. Now the OWC adjuster, he probably means claims examiner, said, I cannot keep submitting my form. Right? This was denied due to my employer. Now my employer has not confirmed leave without pay status. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Taylor in a minute until future dates. Talk about the employers and
well,
yeah.
It sounds to me like what they're doing right here is they're half right and half wrong with this scenario. I need to know more about why he's filing for some level of a CA7. It has to do with leave or leave buyback or reimbursement, and what type of leave you're trying to do. You're using the right form, but it's just that normally we don't need a CA7 if you're in the first 45 calendar days of a CA1 traumatic injury incident, because continuation of pay pays you your full salary. So you wouldn't need to use your leave or need to be reimbursed for your leave, because continuation of pay by definition means they're going to continue your standard check as a courtesy while you're developing your case. They understand it takes time. So the government allotted in their regulations the 45 days of you going to continue your regular pay. That's why it's called continuation of pay. And there should not be any leave filing until that has expired from day 2 to the calendar days of 45 days afterwards. Because of that, we need a little bit of context here, but the CA7 shouldn't be necessary, so your employer is partly right, or your claims examiner is partly right, and she's saying that you can't file it or you shouldn't file it because you shouldn't be using your leave for anything if you're on your regular standard pay. So at this point, I need to know what he would think he needs to file for leave, because there shouldn't be any leave being taken away from you if you're actually receiving continuation of pay. So you cannot use your continuation of pay until for leave, the CA7, for leave reimbursement, leave buyback, etc., until you get past the COP 45 days.
And so it's past the 45 days and you're using leave without pay, then you can ask for reimbursement.
And so this question is saying, that you can't file your CA7 during the continuation of pay period. That's actually true. That's true. So what I need to know is what are you trying to do? What leave are you trying to be reimbursed for? And then if you can follow up with that, then I can give you a little more clarification. But that, in general, that's how to answer the question.
Isn't this fun? Okay. All right. Okay. Michael from Florida. Nexus letter, VA. I need assistance for the Nexus letter for denied claim for shoulders. I can't believe they denied your shoulders. My goodness. Never heard of that. Okay, obviously, come in. We'll do a next letter. Or maybe even telehealth and do it. Now, VA, if it happened during the service, it's covered. If you have no medical records, that's okay. You tell me, I believe you, it becomes your medical record. Right? The denials are just automatic. I had a federal employee from Ohio who teaches raters, that each state has people that rate and look at files of whether they can accept a VA claim. He said they're not well trained. And you do need a Nexus letter, but you need to start with your doctor, not some Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you never go to the VA and hope the VA hired gun doctors, nurse practitioners, and PAs are going to write a Nexus letter. They're not. They don't. First of all, they're not trained. All right. And they're working for the man. They probably think they're supposed to do it. Okay. Okay, so come on in. Let's get your shoulders taken care of, and probably your neck too.
Would you explain a little bit in context of the difference between a traditional note from a doctor versus a Nexus report? What does a Nexus report accomplish that they need to understand why it's needed?
Okay, a doctor has to say if something is work-related or an injury. For instance, this was a state workers' comp claim. Company driver, company truck wreck, broken neck, he has a fusion of his neck. A doctor has to say if this is work-related. Well, obviously that's work-related. But the neurosurgeon, great neurosurgeon, you operate in any time, wrote back and said, because the insurance company said, they want to pay, but they need a doctor's report. I don't know, I didn't see the truck roll. So they have to go to court, and the judge obviously rules that it's work-related. And so we have no training in that. But a doctor needs to go into detail and explain it, right? And then federal, in VA it's not so hard. But in federal, you've got to go a long step further. You can't say the guy fell out of an 80-story building and hit the ground. You got to explain what happened when he hit the ground and explain how it happened. Right. Okay, you've got to go into detail. Because the claims examiner, in federal, there are 5 things where you're actually employment, did it happen, blah, blah. The medical rationale, which is always a holdup, because we're not trained. The white coats are not trained. And so you need to have to explain it. And in federal, you're explaining to somebody with a high school education that has no medical training, right? And has the bias against anybody who files a claim. And they don't know they have a bias. You have it too, probably. Insurance company ran an ad for many months, prime time. We fight fake car wreck claims to keep your car insurance premiums down. buy our car insurance. They're saying we're going to fight you, buy our insurance. Okay, that should be a comedy tour. Okay, that company is so bad, it pissed me off. So I took the master's course. This is double-sided in accident reconstruction. I went to court one time. I've never had to go back. They stopped that stuff. Don't mess with my babies. Okay, but did you see a doctor? The average doctor shouldn't do this. I am licensed in the state of Oklahoma to do brain damage and do treatment and do brain surgery. It would be malpractice because I'm not trained. So don't ask a doctor to fill out paperwork that he's not trained in. Not too long ago, the doctor it was federal workers' comp, 5 surgeries on the knee, including a total knee, which thank you very, very much, doctor, for most people can't even find anybody who'll treat it, federal employee, okay? And so he didn't have to pay copay on his health insurance. But then he was asked, when will I be at maximum medical improvement? Well, doctor, you're always going to need physical therapy and blah, blah, blah. That would have cost him $310,000. Doctors, if you don't know, say, I don't know. That's a really good answer. There's nothing wrong with I don't know. I mean, I love it when patients come in with something, WebMD or Google, what do you think? Yeah, let's talk about it. And I really love it when guys come in with whys, because then I can find out what's going on. But if a doctor's affronted by you asking questions or showing something, you find another mechanic. And now remember, I have a white coat. That doesn't make me God. And you don't trust mechanics, you don't trust doctors. You go by your instinct. And if they're assholes, leave and find somebody else. You can tell if someone's telling the truth and who they're working for. Okay?
It's as simple as the general reports that you're going to get in medicine when you're getting a medical report that you're asking your doctor that knows you to do it. He's going to give you a diagnosis and a treatment plan. That's medical training. But what they're asking for in all these different federal health care programs, whether it's VA or it's OWCP, is they're asking for specific and definitive answers of causation that you never have to do in the real world. And they expect it to be done on every case of every injury and every incident, and that's just a different language. It's a different language. And so if you're speaking Chinese to a German when you're trying to get a doctor to get outside of that report, because he never has to answer that question, and most of the time they're just uncomfortable and they don't want to. We understand that the exact requirements, and they're very specific, and they're different in each agency and division of government and healthcare. And if you understand that, that's how Nexus reports for VA or OWCP causation statements for Fifth Element reports, we do those well because we speak that language. And most of the doctors that you see, they're well-meaning and they're good doctors and they know how to diagnose you, but they don't have the understanding of what to say to explain how it's related to the way you fell or how you got hurt. And that's a language, and there's a stylized language to that, and it's all spelled out. If anybody would read that big, thick FECA Act, but you and I are the only ones that want to read the whole thing. But that's why we do what we do. We do that for you, and then we get you to good doctors that'll take care of you. Because they don't want to do what we do.
And they shouldn't have to waste their time doing it. Yeah. So, and of course, like every state's got its own workers' comp, and then there's AFLAC and all kinds of stuff, and every one of them has a system of magic words. I started doing legal medicine 50 years ago. Attorney asked me, delivered this baby. Doc, will you see a state workers' comp claim and rate them for a percentage of the loss of the ability to do ordinary manual labor? Now, to a doctor going, what? But that's how law talks to medicine. But they have to talk to medicine because you have to have a white coat to get injuries approved by whatever system. And that's one of the main reasons it breaks down is the white coat, we don't know. But the main reason is there's a subliminal, subconscious denial. When I started doing this 50 years ago, I thought 60% of my patients would be honest and 40% be kind of flaky. That makes me amongst normal doctors, not insurance company doctors. They're getting paid to lie. That makes me pro-injured person. Because we doctors, our ego is so big, because you got to have an ego to get through medical school. Medicine didn't make me an asshole. Assholes go into medicine, okay? So we would rather 99 people not get a pain pill than one drug addict trick us. 99 people legitimate claims be denied than one trick us. We're not looking for truth. We're looking to make our ego. It's just like a prosecuting attorney can never say, whoops, I was wrong, and withdraw. His ego will not let him. Remember, Jesus knew the heart of man. Okay? And there's one verse that I disagree with the Bible, not when it was written. Paul said, I'm the chief of sinners. Well, I wasn't born. Now I would argue with him. And so don't be surprised when people behave normally, which is lie, cheat, steal, kill, murder. That's normal. Abnormal behavior is forgiving enemies, blessing those that persecute you, turning the other cheek. That's from another dimension. So when the government does this to you, it's not personal, it's life. And there are two good things of it. It keeps me in business, and it helps you learn to walk with the Lord. So bless you all today.
Because we're here to help.
We're here to help.
Doc, we just had a couple people that joined us just a few minutes ago.
Okay, good, great.
I figured I give it a
Sure.
minute or so.
Okay,
Ask
sure.
questions.
Because the
Anything
thing,
you want to speak on?
well, the thing we want to make sure we reiterate when we get together and do this with you guys is that whatever your problem is, it's unique to you, and it's a problem that is delaying, and it's a barrier, and it's going to be difficult on either you financially or personally or clinically with your pain. What we're doing is we expedite that process, because for you it's the first time, for us it's the 1000th time. And what we're doing for you is we're just streamlining, cleaning up mistakes or any of the administrative stuff that you don't know. We'll show you how to do it, and then we'll get you off and running and get you what you deserve. And then that's all you need. It sounds easy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are involved in this that really don't want to help you or don't know how to help you, and then you guys get frustrated and not know where to go. But we're the shining beacon of light for the country to come here, and we'll take care of it for you.
We don't even know if we're any good. There's just a few people that do this.
Yeah, that's true. There's just
Okay,
not a lot of other people want to do it.
Dr. Taylor also has, tell them that your website, the
Oh, well, I do Federal Workers Comp Coffee Break Podcast. So I
Coffee
have,
Break Podcast.
the
How do they
podcast,
find it?
Federal Workers Comp Coffee Break Podcast is on all of the streaming
That's the name.
platforms.
Federal Workers Comp
Coffee Break
Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was based on the old federal lunch and learns that everybody does. They do these short format lunch and learns in federal government service, and everybody's familiar with that. So I decided, while you're doing a lunch and learn style, I'll do a little 15-minute coffee break, 15-30 minutes,
Okay.
and I'll cover a topic. And so I've been doing that for a couple of years, and you can see it on everywhere that you go to get a podcast.
Okay, so next time, hopefully, we'll have an actual coffee cup over here. But here's a coffee cup I got from, it's not actually a patient. Inspired by Doc Ellis Q&A, YouTube, June 21st, 1963. But I love what he did. He took my logo, pound 1H, exclamation point. That stands for number one asshole. And I'm not being derogatory, that's what my wife says. I'm quoting my wife. But I'm your asshole. Now I got two assholes here.
The thing is that when you guys are frustrated and you're not sure what to ask. There's no stupid questions here. We're here to help. Whatever's on your mind or whatever you're going on, just fire away. We get emails, we get hundreds of emails all the time about all these different scenarios for all these different divisions of federal healthcare needs. Fire away, we're here to help. It's easy for us because it's the 1000th time we've answered it. For you, it might be the first time, but look at the barrier and how much you're doing without, or you're suffering needlessly because you don't know where to go. Well, here we are.
And here's another warning. In federal workers' comp, I don't know of a good lawyer. Now, I'm not paralegal. Best the legal mind I've said. In federal workers' comp, we can handle all that. In VA, you're going to need a representative that's been trained to be able to take you through the paperwork and go through an appeal process. You don't want to do administrative law by yourself.
But if you do have a lawyer, we work with them.
Oh, absolutely. We love lawyers.
We'll work with you.
Yeah.
But the thing is that what we're trying to do is solve your problem, and whatever needs you have, whatever your scenario is, and even if you're representative, just get it to us, and we're here to help.
Yeah, when I see a lawyer, I'm going to tell you something you've never heard before. I'm a doctor who loves lawyers.
All
So
right.
I think we're through.
Tune in next time.
Tune in next time.
Thanks for
Okay.
checking.
Thank you.